It's time for part 2 of my analysis of semi-final number 1 of Eurovision 2025. Let's kiki! Don't forget to check out part 1, which I already posted on the channel.
Okay, now let's go through the countries who are in the second half. And first of all, let's take a look at the San Marino jury. So in case you don't know, San Marino doesn't have a televote because their telephone communications are the same as Italy's. So you can't tell if the call is coming from within San Marino or within Italy. For that reason, they can't have a televote. So in the semi-finals, they use their jury. And then in the final, they use their jury as the jury. And they use a telephone aggregate as their televote. So other countries who've got a similar pattern are put into a mysterious formula. No one knows what the formula is. And then they have an aggregated televote. I think maybe the formula for it changes every year because no one's been able to ever crack that code. But the point is, in the semi-finals, San Marino use a jury instead of a televote. And look how incredibly different San Marino's votes are from everybody else. This is something that I've talked about in my last 2 jury analysis videos. By the way, my latest 2024 jury analysis video is still super valid. Go check it out. It's not out of date. But this really backs that up even further, which is that look at San Marino's points, only giving 5 of the actual qualifiers points and giving all 5 of the non-qualifiers points. By the way, that's not a great way to help your own qualification, is to give all of your rivals points. So I like that San Marino's not gaming the system. But yeah, 12 points to Belgium, which was their best, 8 points to Slovenia, which was their best, 7 points to Azerbaijan, which was their only points, therefore their best, 5 to Cyprus and 2 to Croatia. So they gave points to all of the countries that didn't qualify. And the point that I make in that 2024 video is that juries and televote only agree 74% of the time in their top 10. This is a really strong indicator that if we had juries back in the semi-final, different songs would have qualified. It looks like Belgium could potentially have gotten some good points. So could have Slovenia. That makes sense. They're both jury songs. We would expect those two, Belgium because of the vocals, Slovenia because it's a ballad. We would expect those to do well with juries, and Azerbaijan with the difficult vocal as well. So I'm not saying I want juries back in the semi-finals. I'm just saying this fits in with my 2024 jury analysis video, which said we're likely losing 2 or 3 strong jury songs, which could mean that it's easier to get a big jury score in the final because some of your jury rivals are gone, kicked out in the semi-finals. None of the other countries gave votes to more than 2 countries amongst the non-qualifiers. And if you look at the automatic qualifiers, Spain, Switzerland, and Italy, none of them gave any points to the non-qualifiers, which is crazy. All 3 of them guessed the 10 qualifiers, which I think is insane. I look back through previous results, I couldn't find another time that happened. And the rest of the world was only off by 1 by giving points to Croatia instead. So non-competing countries, very, very uniform, whereas the competing countries, we see a little bit more chaos going on, which I love. There's more points spread down the bottom, 44, 28, 23, 23, 7. Great to see some healthy numbers in the non-qualifiers. Unlike that semi-final we had a while ago where there was like 3 points, 4 points, we had a couple of zeros as well. But yes, the San Marino jury once again showing that juries could potentially have voted very different if they were still present in the semi-finals. They're not there because countries were cheating with their juries in the semi-finals, so I don't blame the Eurovision producers for changing it. Okay, so on the topic of who did well there, let's talk about Belgium, who didn't qualify. They got 14th, 23 points, second last, not even close. They lost to Slovenia because Slovenia got points from 8 countries and Belgium only got points from 4, which is the first tiebreaker. How many countries gave you points? Let's go to Twitter and find out why did people not vote for this. I can't read out all the comments. It would literally be 10 minutes. So I'm just going to read out some key ones. Cancel Bestie didn't hate it and was shocked it didn't qualify. My dad said he was all right. Would be a great track without the screaming. Okay, so vocals didn't come across great. Too severe. The red suggests threat, danger, and that electro-techno sound isn't a Eurovision sound. His lower register almost inaudible, which is weird because you could hear it in the arena, but on screen, people weren't getting it. It was pretty much over the second they saw the mirror LED floor shot, which I really liked actually. But I have to watch it back on TV, see what it looked like. My mum looked up from her magazine for 2 whole seconds and said, well, he's out. Wow, Molly's mum. Brutal. They didn't like it, thought it was shaky vocals and too red. The clones were cool when they showed up, but then everyone was bored of it because they didn't use the clones well. Watched it with a Belgian, just the 2 of us, who was much more casual. Of course, he was a bit biased, but we were both equally convinced It was a slam dunk to qualify. Still amazed and annoyed that it didn't happen. They loved it and spent half of their votes on him. We gave him 8 points. The ones who watch Eurovision thought he was certainly one of the better ones in semi-final 1, but most of my co-workers of all ages that heard it on the radio thought it was not so great song-wise and also the high voice. So some people having issues with the voice. Good, but club songs don't do well, especially in the final. They weren't too obsessed with it, but they were shocked it didn't qualify and said it should have been in the finals. I don't know if this is good. I watched it with my mum. When she saw it, the only thing she said was, WTF. I think that's probably not good. My parents loved it and thought it was a sure qualifier. Then they said it was a robbery he didn't go through. Both my parents were keen on the chorus, but it was clear that there was just a little too much time spent in the verses, which killed most of the hype the chorus created. They said it was great, but some needed reminding when we were scoring. Who was Belgium again? Ouch, all that red for nothing. Needed the recap as a reminder. My parents didn't like it. They said it was terrible. They seemed to hate high-pitched vocals. They muted the TV. We're not impressed by his vocals. It was objectively weaker than usual, to be honest, especially after our commentators praised him for his vocal ability before the performance. Staging was cool, but not enough to compensate. Staging was good, but it completely overwhelmed a mediocre song. We were shocked that it didn't pass. We were thinking why it might have happened. Perhaps the cool part of the song started a bit too late, so people weren't engaged until the end. They didn't like his voice and called it kind of loud and cheap rave. Ouch. Dad loved the song and was gutted it went out. He thought the music and visuals really stood out as being different and fresh versus some of the more Eurovision-y standard material. They saw it was excellent but couldn't vote. Cool staging, but why is he not singing it well? I can't hear him. They liked the vocals, but many complained about the lighting and the red everywhere. My mom said his vocals were terrible. They did not remember what Belgium had at the end of the semi. That's the second one. Thought the high notes were good, but the other parts not so much. Most casuals I know liked it, but didn't love it. They liked it, ranked it 5th or 6th in the semi, and said that the staging was very cool. They put it on their playlists, but they didn't vote for it. Loved the staging, but they were bothered by the vocal. And they couldn't remember the song after it ended. It's a very long build-up. I remember that when I did my reaction video, how long the build-up was until you got to the definitive chorus. So that atypical structure kind of backfired maybe. They absolutely loved it. They didn't like it and didn't understand the hype. This was 5th in the odds to win, remember. My sister and I thought he could be a contender for the win. We thought it was the best of the night. What do you think of this, Dad? I wish I wasn't sick so I could leave the room. Too much screaming. People around me thought he wasn't a very good singer. They didn't care about it. They hated it. On Patreon, song itself was subpar, not a lot of substance besides. We thought it was awesome. Great show, but that vocal was unpleasant to listen to. My casual pals, none of them really remembered the song and also found the vocals grinding. Loved the vocal, but all the red was too much and it overpowered everything. One of my friends used the second part of the song as their bathroom break. We're biased as we're all Belgian, but they all admitted that the first 20 seconds ruined it because he didn't hit those lower notes. Okay, so very important to get people in that first beginning. Wanted to like it because of the staging, but just not into that style of music. Everyone loved it, but when I showed them the national final staging, they liked that better. Okay, that's interesting. My partner thought, ugh, a high note, just as annoying and not that interesting. My colleague thought it was weak and I had low energy. So it just seems like there were just too many risky elements. I think a lot of people not liking the vocal, and then the riskiness of the song, and then the riskiness of the staging, just making that kind of diagram smaller and smaller. You can see some people there saying they liked the vocal, but they didn't like the staging, or then they liked the staging, but didn't like the vocal. There were just too many barriers to get over to actually end up liking the song. For me, fundamentally, I just thought the song was too weak. I thought the staging really, really elevated this massively. But if you saw my top 30 video I did earlier in the season, I think this was 28th or so. It was actually in my bottom 7 and I put it up a little bit more because it got in my head in the days before that video. But this for me is easily in the top 10 worst songs of this year. I just don't think it's enjoyable to listen to. And I think fundamentally my biggest takeaway from this semi-final and from the 2025 contest is that it is a song contest. All these people who say it's not a song contest anymore, it's a farce. No, it really is a song contest. Like, the biggest correlation between qualification and not qualifying is the quality of the song for me. Absolutely. That's why I find it so strange that this was so high up in the winning odds, because the song never got any better than it was when it was chosen. That's something I'm going to be considering a lot next season. 2 non-qualifications in a row for Belgium, despite having two packages that were in the top 10 of the odds to win. How are they going to bounce back from this? It's a shame because I'd really like to see Eurosong come back and get a little bit of consistency, but we're changing broadcaster now where they don't tend to do a national final, they tend to internally select. So let's see what we get. Okay, now let's talk about this epic battle for the final qualification spot between Cyprus, who ended up coming 11th with 44 points, and San Marino, who came 10th with 46 points. Now, San Marino got points from 14 countries, and if you look here on the right, the countries that qualified were the ones who got the points from the most countries. So San Marino, 14 countries, very much in line with everybody else who qualified. Cyprus, however, only got points from 5 countries, which ranks them 13th in terms of the quantity of countries who gave them points. So why were they so close to qualifying then? Well, the reason that Cyprus were so high is that despite only getting points from 5 countries, all these points were quite big. So 12 points from Albania, 10 points from Slovenia, 12 points from Azerbaijan, 5 from Portugal, and then 5 from the jury from San Marino. So this is a very odds points distribution. If you look, you can see most of the countries who get big points got points from everyone. It's not like they just had big points and then blanks from everybody else. So this is a very, very, very unusual and suspicious looking voting pattern. So shout out to Marios on Twitter, who pointed out that this is something that allegedly seems to happen a lot with the dream team. So this year, getting points from Azerbaijan, you know, they got 12 points from Azerbaijan last year in the televote as well with Liar. They also got 8 points from Portugal, which they got this year, and Slovenia gave them 7 points. So they're getting big points from the same countries, and these are 3 countries, and they also got 12 points from Moldova for Liar as well. Marius is pointing out that this is a pattern with the dream team. I don't even know if this is the full dream team. I think it's just Dimitri Kontopoulos. The other 2 are Philip Kirkorov and Fokus Evangelisis. I don't know if they were involved in this, but there's a definite pattern that the dream team songs tend to get a lot of points from Azerbaijan, Albania, Portugal, and Slovenia. What is the connection thing between all these countries? I think they are countries that is easier, allegedly, possibly, potentially, are easier to rig the televotes in because they have lower voting numbers. I think interest in the contest is lower in those countries, or just a lot of people aren't voting. So if you do go in with Simpson, I'm not saying this is what happened. I'm just saying theoretically, this is something that could hypothetically, allegedly happen. If you want me to do a full deep dive into this, leave me a comment down below. But yes, I think there's a very strong argument that this is something that needs to be investigated, because this points distribution you can see for Cyprus is so unusual. You can see as well in this other column, top threes, you can see in these 2 columns on the right, you can see the first column is the amount of countries that gave points to this entry, and then how many top threes that country gave. And you can see there's a really steady color decline. But when we get to Cyprus, it's totally different. They have only 5 countries giving them points, but 3 of them are top threes. It just doesn't make sense. It's a total anomaly. Very, very, very unusual, suspicious looking results. And again, it's this pattern of, again, it's Azerbaijan, and again, it's Albania, and again, Slovenia and Portugal. Same as in previous entries. So yes, I'm glad that San Marino did qualify, because this was appreciated by 14 different countries. I'm very glad that Italy were in this semi-final, so that they were able to give their 12. This would have been really, really unfortunate if Cyprus had just gotten 3 more points and qualified through from what looks like a very, very, very dodgy pattern. So I'm super, super happy that San Marino were the ones who went through. This is only their 4th time into the Eurovision final since 2008. Valentina Mileta came 24th, Serhat came 19th, Senna came 22nd, this came last. So unfortunately, they didn't break their best record ever, which was 19th from Serhat, but still a huge achievement for them. So I don't like how close this was. I wonder, is a small investigation going to happen behind the scenes? Maybe Kontopoulos just has huge fan bases in those countries, who knows? Or lots of relatives are in. There could be an innocuous reason for it, but I definitely think it's worth investigating. It is so suspicious as a data distribution pattern. Speaking of Cyprus, let's have a look and see what casuals thought. Why didn't it qualify? Let's look at Patreon first. Initially, we loved it, but then we got sick of it. My friends thought the staging was fun, but it definitely didn't make up for the vocals. I showed the semi-final performance to those in my watch party. The vocals made everyone cringe. Not a big enough statement for a show closer. My partner thought the staging was good, but the song is dumb. They were not surprised that it didn't qualify. They should have used the stage more. So actually it was quite compact. It was only in one spot mostly. I think he did walk forward towards the end. My vocal appreciative friend got the most offended over Cyprus. He got actually upset over the thought of them qualifying. Others thought it was meh and ranked it like 10th. So another example of people not enjoying this kind of falsetto vocal from a man. Actually, 3 of the songs that didn't qualify, Azerbaijan as well, all having this high vocal that didn't seem to land with a lot of people. There were no real reactions besides he isn't hitting the notes while climbing the scaffolding. Okay, let's go check out Twitter. Again, I can't read out all of these, I'm sorry. My brother said, and I quote, "This song is cheeks," which I found out is not good. My friend was not impressed with the song, the vocal, or the staging. There was just a lot going on and didn't know what to focus on, so she just zoned out and was busy looking at her score sheet. Again, if you're at the end and people want to kind of like do other stuff, you have to maintain that attention. It was grand. The staging is cool, but the song sucks ass, says my sister. Just a lot of oh dear during the high notes. Didn't like it, could tell immediately he couldn't sing, and it put them off. Like it was obvious to them he was overcompensating with the staging. Staging was cool, but the vocals, I don't remember any comments good or bad. They were commenting on other songs. Nobody voted for it. My mum thought the staging was interesting and was handsome, but meh. Generic song, didn't like his voice. What is this and why is he going in and out of a cage? Generic song, not memorable. A Cypriot friend said, nah, we can do better. Atrocious. Staging was unnecessary and not that impressive. Song is arguably one of the worst. Vocals were off the entire time. They hated it. The ones who understood English straight up laughed their asses off of the lyrics, so lyric fail. Staging okay, but it wasn't amazing. My mum liked it. Terrible singing. Picture the most indifferent thing ever. Something around there. So people just didn't seem particularly interested, or those who paid attention weren't wowed. My father hated the song. My boyfriend genuinely liked it. Everyone else thought it was ass. And some of us were laughing from how unserious it was. So some people calling this ass, some people calling it cheeks. Why did they bring scaffolding? They thought it was a male climbing fitness kind of thing rather than an artistic dance routine. No one liked the song and the staging was too much. Some found the song dull. My family thought the song was okay, but nothing special, but did appreciate the staging. However, the high notes, everyone collectively cringed, and my mum even had to leave the room for her ears. My grandma found it boring. When grandma finds your performance boring, it's not good. Loved it. Sorry to not see it get to the final. Dad said the song was boring, that he couldn't sing, and the staging didn't distract from that. This is a big theme this year, is the staging cannot distract from a base product that people don't like. My sister liked the staging, but the song didn't do much for her. I'm not reading that comment out. It was stereotypical, repeated, done before, not surprising. The vocals sucked. Felt like a high school project. Ouch. They liked it. My mum burst out laughing. The song was trash. My husband was cringing a bit. They said he should have been standing in one place to reach those notes because he's clearly struggling while moving around. I listened to the song, but I already forgot it. My mom said he can't sing. Terrible song. A few winces. He's moving too much. This song doesn't end. The mystery is, when will the song end? They all hated it. He tried to pull off a Nemo but failed miserably. Can we turn the volume down? This guy can't sing. Great staging, not great vocals. Awful, looks like Britain's Got Talent. My friend completely forgot about it and the contest, but during it he thought it was a Nothing Burger song and completely didn't get that it was about the Vitruvian Man. Yeah, the whole Vitruvian Man reveal thing was just kind of... This is what don't big up your... I don't know if... maybe it wasn't him. Someone bigged it up. Don't big up your staging. It's just... I remember seeing that in the dress rehearsal and not even registering that that was the big reveal. I thought that they were going to do the reveal in the live show and someone was going to actually appear like Celine Dion something, or Adonis. I don't know why I thought Adonis from Czechia was going to appear. It actually had to be pointed out to me later on that the reveal was a Vitruvian Man. Like, just no, it just didn't work. It was such a flop reveal. Same thing as Red Sebastian. Just a lot of people not liking the song. And then this hyper overcompensation for that. Plus he wasn't able to sing the song. So there's just really bad song selection and pairing with the artist. This was a song that he wasn't able to sing. So there's a lot of really bad decisions made very early in the season. He was one of the first artists announced, so they had plenty of time to fix this and they didn't. So I don't know if they didn't get that feedback or what, but they released the song so late. Maybe they should have released it earlier to get that feedback and make changes. But I saw so few people who actually liked the song in the fandom. And this is such a fandom style of song, which was alarming. Again, allegedly, if those points ended up being a little bit dodgy. This pretty much got no points at all. And based on that feedback, that wouldn't surprise me. Okay, let's next talk about Norway getting 82 points, coming 8th in the semi-final, getting points from 17. Every single televote country gave this points. The San Marino jury didn't. Really wonderful from Kai. And these are healthy points as well. A lot of 5s and 6s. A 12 from Ukraine, which is my favorite on this entire grid. I love that Ukrainians put this as their #1 song. I wouldn't have guessed that this would be the favorite song of Ukrainians, but they really liked it. And Norway are on a qualification streak now, which is absolutely crazy. Really strong, qualifying every single year since Agnieszka. I wonder what's happening with them next year now. We had this new head of delegation who did a good job. He took the MGP staging, upgraded it a little bit. Kyle was a wonderful representative. Are they going to go back to the semi-final system? Is the budget in NRK still reduced? Are we only going to get a final? I think they definitely need to look at what happened this year. Why was the song quality so reduced? I recently released my national final results video, and Norway were 18th in the quality of songs category out of 26, which is super low. But they did very well in the production. I think they were top 5 for production. So people liked how the show was done. They just didn't like the songs. What are they going to do to try and fix that? Was it a blip year, or do they need to do a little bit of a diagnosis? But the lucky news is that they ended up having one good song in the mix. In my opinion, one good. Some other people liked other songs that got points from everybody and did very well in the final as well, despite opening up the final. Okay, next up, let's talk about Albania. Shkoda Elektronika coming 2nd in the semi-final. This is Albania's best result since Rona Nishlu, who ended up coming 5th in her final, despite a very bad running order. This ended up coming 8th in the final. Points from every single country. So wonderful to see for Albania, and 12 from the rest of the world, which you would imagine is partly due to Kosovo, not just because of Kosovo, but 10 points from Italy as well. I really hope that Albania takes a huge lesson from this, that if they send something that's got a lot more heart, more originality. This felt the most original Albanian entry we've gotten in decades, because they pretty much every single year just sent a big, powerful female pop, usually a ballad, but it's like a strong female vocal, and it's just the same thing with red and black staging every single freaking year. And I just hope they see now just sending something different, unique, special, that a lot of us didn't think could win Festival of Kungas. A lot of us thought that Elvana Gyata was going to win, who is rumored to maybe be there next year. What an amazing follow-up that would be for Albania. Could they be in their golden era? But yeah, great for them, considering that last year they came, I think they were last or second last in the semi-final. Almost no points, very weak staging in my opinion. And to come back from that and just have this really stark contrast. When you send something better, you're going to get rewarded for it. The reason you haven't got rewarded in the past is because your entries were lacking originality, something different or unique. They have had a good qualification record, don't get me wrong. Albania, I think, are around 60% recently, but not doing anything in the final. And they're being given bad running order slots in the final because they have songs that aren't special. This year, they got given a good running order slot because the producer's like, this is a wow song. It has something to it. It's unique. We can put it at the end. You're not going to put Karma from Angela Perestini last because it's just not wow enough. Often you get dumped in bad running order slots because the song is not a wow package in the first place. So there's a little bit of responsibility there from the countries. There's a bit of bad luck as well, but you can't put all the blame onto producers. So I really hope that we're going to go through a golden period with Albania. I would love them to get their first win. I want more countries in Southeast Europe and the East of Europe to be competitive to win, because really the contest has been totally dominated by the West in recent years. We need Eurovision to be held in Eastern Europe soon. Obviously Ukraine won in 22, but weren't able to host, unfortunately. So I want more people competitive. We've seen Serbia have been strong. They're kind of on a little bit of a weak period now. Croatia had a little bit of an uptick. Albania being introduced as well. I want to see more countries who are eligible to win. So I hope that Albania can grow from this. Festival of Kungas 64 is going to be a really strong indicator of whether they learned from this or whether it was a little bit of an anomaly like Ireland was last year with Bambi Thug. Okay, next up is Claude Cloud from the Netherlands. Another entry that got points from every single country, 18 out of 18 giving this points. Only 1 point behind Albania from being joint second. And if they did get 1 point more, they would have actually overtaken Albania because Netherlands got more 12s. They both got 18 sets of votes, but Netherlands got 2 12s from Switzerland and Belgium. Netherlands' semi-final record has been amazing recently. Third this year, second with Joost, although some people would argue that he actually won the semi-final if you take away vote manipulation. 13th for me, Nikolai and Dion Cooper. Second with De Diepte from Stein, and then first with Arcade. So top 3 in 4 of the last 5 semi-finals they've been in. That is absolutely incredible. And then most of them have been converted into good results in the final. Obviously, Duncan Lawrence won, Stein was 11th, Claude came 12th. I think it's conceivable that Joost could have had a result like Tommy Cash and come 3rd or 4th in the final. I think that's definitely possible. So a little bit sad that that didn't happen, but really wonderful for the Netherlands to come back from disqualification last year straight into coming 3rd in the semi-final and then onto the left side of the scoreboard. 8 top 3 placings in the semi-final. So this was hugely appreciated across Europe. And Netherlands have already opened their search for their 2026 representative. So they're starting that really, really early. I think that they're one of the countries who are always in contention to win every year because of the quality that they send, and they're the poster child for how to revamp your system. 8 non-qualifications in a row, which I'm pretty sure is still the record. Montenegro are in 6 in a row now, so maybe they're coming for that record. But the distinct thing about the Netherlands one is it's 8 years in a row as well. They didn't miss any years, whereas Montenegro have taken a couple of breaks. This is 8 consecutive years of misery. And since 2013, they have 8 qualifications and 2 non-qualifications, which is absolutely incredible. Total turnaround. Anyone can turn their fortunes around if they come up with a good enough system and reframe how the contest is perceived in their country, something that Ireland and the UK need to do desperately. We need to look at what the Netherlands did. How can we turn it around? Because we could be as successful as the Netherlands if we had such a good strategy. Okay, in 12th spot in the semi-final was Croatia. Marko Bosniak, who's been in a little bit of naughty trouble since the contest happened. Got 8 points from Ukraine, 12 from Slovenia. Got points from 7 countries in total, but those 2 were quite big and the rest were 2s and 1s. Ended up having 28 points, being 18 points behind San Marino. Okay, let's have a look at the comments about Poison Cake. Why didn't qualify? Let's go to Twitter first. My brother said this is buns, which I think is better than Cheeks, but it's still not good. My kids thought the song was messy. Too many abrupt swings in mood. The chorus is basically one note, which is very true. Oh no. Staging was overdone. Too intense all the way through. They thought it sounded like wannabe edgy K-pop song from Temu. Staging was good though. As a Croatian, most casual viewers of Dora didn't like it and were pretty outraged because there were songs with more televote points and more hype to choose from. So yeah, no one was really into it, so I can't blame ESC voters for not voting either. Similar to Montenegro, who also, their song didn't have a huge amount of televote support. Everyone I've seen and talked to thought the staging was quite cool, but couldn't get over the song. Mama said this is garbage, arguably the worst song of the season. They tried to elevate the performance, but it was not enough to help an atrocious song. Croatia and Belgium, my boyfriend said they were too much, and by the time Croatia came on, he properly groaned that there was another song with more flashing. So that's that dark pop curse that we talked about. Too many of these dark pop songs, and they all kind of swallowed each other up actually, because three of the dark pop boys got swallowed up. Did any of the dark pop boys make it? Kyle was the only one who made it through, but he was a bit more poppy. My mom said it wasn't as bad as I was hyping it up to be. Headache-inducing mess of a song. I have a friend that really doesn't like Eurovision, and it was his favorite song of them only. The only one that he really liked more than It Was Just Okay, but then did he vote? I doubt it. These people who come in and like one song, I doubt they're going to vote, pay money, the song they like. They ignored it, didn't pay attention. There was a completely unrelated conversation about other entries throughout the whole performance. My mom liked it, thought it was unique. The song is decent, but too much epilepsy from the screen. Friends and family disliked this entry a lot and wanted it over. Some didn't really care, but it was at least one person's favourite from the semi. Out of the dark pop boys, they all liked Marco the most and thought he should have qualified. Best vocals, most compelling vibe, and most complete package. That's interesting, actually. Nobody complaining about Marco's vocals, seems to be more the song. Laughed from how terrible it was, were shocked at the yelling at the end, and gooped when I told them even more yelly at Dora, although he was sick, wasn't he? The performance is good, but unfortunately the song is not. Friend thought it was weird and didn't pay attention. They found it screamy and loud and not pleasant to listen to. Song was too heavy with little substance. I didn't know about the controversy, but me and my boy liked it, but at the same time we doubted it qualifying due to how competitive that night was. They cringed at the song a lot and wanted it to be over. My aunt said she thought it was visually a mess and otherwise not appealing at all due to the lyrics. Every single one of them hated it, even the ones I didn't expect to. They thought it was absolutely dreadful, such a letdown after Baby Lasagna last year. My sister really liked it. He was dead last when we voted in semi-final 1. My mom said it was weird and freaky. My casual friends, all K-pop fans, said it sounds like a special subgenre of K-pop. Parents said it was night and day difference versus last year's Croatian entry. My mom muted the TV, they all hated it. Okay, he's trying something, but it's not good, but it's something. Consensus was that the staging popped, but song was dreadful. They didn't like it, nor Marco. It began to grow on me. They said it was messy. I got comments about the part that played like the child song. No one liked that at all, the patty cake part. They didn't mind the staging. Someone called it very ADHD. No one really cared about the song itself. Terrible, according to my mom. My friend liked it, but she said she couldn't really understand the lyrics and thought that poison cake was some kind of metaphor. My partner thought the staging was better, but not a good song, so can't do much about that. Yeah, for me, the biggest issue was the song. For me, the biggest issue with all the non-qualifiers was the song, and then trying to cover that up with good staging. And actually, most of them did a pretty good job of that. But yeah, all the dark pop boys not going through. Croatia also on a similar streak to Slovenia, where since 2008, they had 2 qualifications, 4 non. 2 qualifications, 4 non. 2 qualifications. We've just started a new 4 non-qualification streak. We got the first one. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're going to break that because I think that Croatia has turned a corner. But yeah, theoretically, if the pattern continues, we're getting 3 more Croatian non-qualifications. Which means the final country we're talking about is Azerbaijan. And if we look here, they didn't get any televote points. So this got 7 points from the San Marino jury and 0 from everybody else. I don't think I even really need to go and read the comments because you can just see this is universal disgust for the Azerbaijan entry. Yeah, Azerbaijan have been really struggling in the televote recently. They came 15th this year last, 14th last year, 14th the year before. And then even the last time they qualified with Nadir, Fade to Black, they got 0 points from the televote in the semi-final and then 3 points in the final from Georgia. So they haven't gotten points in the televote in over 4 years. The last time to get a proper televote score was Matahari in 2019. So Azerbaijan are definitely in their really bad period. They need a massive revamp. They just seem to be sending more and more men onto the stage. Nadir was on his own, and then we had two guys, now we're 3 guys. Maybe they should go back to having a lady, or try 4 guys maybe, or 5 guys. Maybe they could get a sponsorship from 5 guys. But yeah, I don't know what they're doing recently, but it's total mess. It's not working. They need to totally rethink their strategy. Actually, a really interesting thing here we look is if you look at these results, the 12s are spread out so much. 12 of the 15 countries got 12s, and Azerbaijan, one of the only countries who didn't, the other ones being Slovenia, Portugal. So only 3 countries didn't get a 12. Azerbaijan just didn't get any televote points at all. So total mess. They need to do a huge revamp. Okay, so let's find out, what did casuals think about Mama Gamma Ride With You? Let's first go to Patreon. I really liked it. Others thought it was meh. Liked his unusual voice, but the weird marching dancers and the back LED killed it. There was a lot of WTF being said. Yeah, this staging was done by Ace Bowerman, who also did the UK staging in the final, which got 0 points in the televote. My friends genuinely burst into laughter when he started singing. Don't think that's a good sign. Actual exchange. At least it was different. Oh, I thought the vocals were off. That's what was different. I said, find the note girl, and everybody laughed. Oh God, so people were really not living for these vocals. My partner thought the vocals were bad. It was also just very predictable and didn't catch their attention. They think the LEDs are AI generated. No one liked his vocals, and get lucky, they had no real opinion on the staging. Let's check out what people thought on Twitter. Oh my God, there were so many replies to this. ESC Gabe says, I got a couple of, he sounds like Mickey Mouse. My brother said it sounds like someone was squeezing his balls the entire time. My mum said that I sang it better. Horrified, hands clasped, mouths, and then just nervous laughter. This is the only one that the people I was watching with actually laughed at. Very hard to remember what it goes like after one listen. Nice to listen to when it's on, but you totally forget about it. My dad heard about 10 seconds of it, went, oh dear, and left the room to have a cigarette. Off put by the vocals, thought the song was good, but ruined by the voice. My mother muted the TV after hearing the first verse or 2. Apparently most of the people found his voice funny. From the first note, they couldn't stop laughing because of how bad it was. They said it had no chance of getting through, and they were right. Well, they were very right because it came last. I hyped this up saying it was one of my favorites and I thought they might like it, but as soon as it finished, they said this would have been good if it had a different vocalist entirely. So still waiting to have a positive comment about the vocals. Surprisingly from my whole family, it's the only song this year that's in everyone's top 10. I guess it's just a really catchy and well-made pop song, but sadly none of us liked the live version. So that's the thing, is conversion as well of the song onto the stage. Hated it so badly. My friend said we know who last place is. We are still laughing about his voice. My brother said he sounded like a dying cat. Didn't care for it at all. Honestly, my mum liked his voice. And she also said it was better than other songs that qualified. So one person who likes his voice. I showed my friend and she burst out laughing. Literal tears when he started singing. Awful vocals. They found it awkward to watch. Joe Pasquale came up, as did Shone from Michael Jackson. Somebody said his balls got cut. One said B-Tech Maroon 5. I don't know what B-Tech is. Is that Timu? We concluded that he sounded like Mickey Mouse singing in cursive. They had to mute it because it was scaring the dog. My husband thought it was a bad idea to choose that song because it clearly only works as a studio version. He was cringing at the vocals. Very good point there. It's just, if it sounds great in a music video, that's nice. How's it going to sound on stage? It has to sound good on stage. I don't mean to sound mean, but is he really supposed to sound like that? My roommate, who was a big fan of the music video, was utterly mortified by the vocals. By the way, the vocals sounded good in the arena. So I have to watch it back. I'm going to do a series where I watch back all of the shows to see what they actually sounded like at home. But in the arena, it sounded good, but the acoustics in the arena were insanely forgiving. So I'm not doubting for a second that this is what actually happened. They said it reminded him of the music that used to be used in FIFA games. Oh, that is so harsh. Within the first 10 seconds, my friend was instantly criticizing the vocals. Does he use helium to sing? Catchy song, loved the ethnic instrumental parts, but noticed he really struggled. It was the joke of the night in our house. It was so bad that we didn't even care. Oh God. Main thing there seems to be the vocals actually. Not too many people saying that they disliked the song or the song was boring. Not too many people being put off by the staging either. Really just non-starter because of this vocal style. And this is a common thing we saw, you know, Red Sebastian also had this type of vocal. So did Theo Evan. Hitting this male falsetto seems to be really unpopular. I think you need to absolutely perfectly nail it. Not just in the arena, it needs to come across on screen as well. You know, Andrew Lambrew did it, but I'm pretty sure he did most of the falsetto on playback. I don't think he actually sang that much of it. When you hear his actual in mic, he's not actually singing too much of it. So maybe they should have done that. Maybe they should have done the falsetto on playback and just lip synced it basically. But I think if we look at all 5 of the non-qualifiers, the main thing I'll take away from this semi-final is that it's the song. The song's too weak, non-starter, and no amount of super wise staging is going to cover that up. Let's get a very quick qualification streak update. And we see Ukraine with an amazing +15, Sweden on +11, +8 for Norway, +5 for Portugal, +4 for Estonia. So that's 4 qualifications in a row for them, 2 qualifications in a row for Netherlands, 1 for Iceland, Poland, San Marino, and Albania, all qualifying this year, having not qualified the year before. Iceland breaking a 2 non-qualification streak, San Marino breaking a 3 non-qualification streak, so really happy for them. Albania just 1 and Poland just 1 as well. New non-qualification streak for Slovenia, Cyprus, and Croatia. Belgium with 2 in a row and Azerbaijan with 3 in a row. They definitely need to do a big change. Okay, that's everything that I thought about semi-final number 1. This video went over way too much, so I'm ending quite abruptly. There were a couple of things I was going to talk about, but I'm going to put them into my semi-final 2 video instead. Thank you so much to everyone who replied to me on Twitter and Patreon, giving your thoughts on why songs didn't qualify. Thank you to those who've been supporting the channel on PayPal and Buy Me Coffee. If you want to support the channel, I'll leave a QR code for you here and a link in the description. Shout out to all my patrons for patronizing me from all around the world. On my Patreon, you can get so much Eurovision stuff in the off season. It's your place to go in the off season for your Eurovision PED. And of course, shout out to my YouTube members as well. Thank you so much just for being here. I've seen another Eurovision analysis video very soon. Goodbye.